Before the story begins, welcome to Mythic Abyss. We met the monsters the world tried to forget. From every culture, from every era, from every shadow, no creature every week. Subscribe so the abyss doesn't swallow you whole. Welcome to Mythic Abyss, the channel that doesn't flinch. We've shown you skinless sea demons, flying heads trailing organs, and shape-shifting spiders. But tonight, we're returning to the Philippines for a creature that even the swan fears. If you watched our swan episode, you thought you'd seen the worst Filipino folklore has to offer. You were wrong. The Manananggal is the swan's most terrifying subspecies. During the day, she is indistinguishable from any other woman in the village. Quiet, attractive, often middle-aged. She goes to church, she buys fish at the market. She waits to your children. But when the sun sets and the village goes to sleep, she goes home, removes her clothing, and rubs a special oil across her torso. And then her body splits, not figuratively, not symbolically, her body physically tears apart at the waist. The upper half, her head, arms, and torso, sprouts enormous leathery wings like a giant bat. Her lower half, from the waist down, remains standing upright wherever she left it, an empty pair of legs waiting in the dark, and the upper half rises into the night sky. Her internal organs, her intestines, her stomach, her liver, all dangling below her like the tendrils of a jellyfish, glistening in the moonlight as she flies. She makes a sound as she flies, a soft, rhythmic ticking T-ik-T-ik-T-ik. In some regions, she's called the tick-tick because of this sound. And here's the detail that makes the Manananggal uniquely terrifying. The sound gets quieter as she gets closer. When the ticking is loud, she's far away. When it fades to almost nothing, she's directly above your house, on your roof, extending her tongue, thin as thread and long as a fishing line, through the gaps in your ceiling, reaching down toward the belly of a pregnant woman sleeping below. In rural Philippine provinces, the Manananggal belief remains strong enough to influence daily behavior. Pregnant women avoid being alone at night, and many households still keep garlic, salt, and vinegar near windows. These are not just superstitions. They are behavioral protocols that have persisted because communities trust them. And because in some corners of the country, everyone knows someone who swears they saw something in the sky.
The Manananggal feeds on the unborn. She uses her elongated tongue to pierce through the mother's navel and drain the amniotic fluid in the fetus inside. The mother feels nothing during the attack. She sleeps peacefully through the entire ordeal. But in the morning, the pregnancy is gone, the baby has been consumed, and the mother is left with nothing but confusion, grief, and a lingering suspicion that something unnatural has happened. In Filipino communities, the defense against the Manananggal is both specific and communal. Garlic is hung from every window and doorframe. Salt is scattered across thresholds. A bolo knife is placed under the bed, and the men of the household take turns standing watch on the roof, listening for the chow-chow ticking sound. But the most important defense is finding the lower half, because the Manananggal's greatest vulnerability is her separation. When her upper half is out hunting, her lower half stands exposed and defenseless wherever she left it, usually in her own home. If a villager finds this lower half before dawn, they can destroy the Manananggal permanently. The method is brutal but effective. Fully exposed waist cavity with salt, crushed garlic, ash, or broken glass. When the upper half returns at dawn to reattach, the corrosive substances prevent the fusion. The Manananggal is trapped in her split form, unable to become whole again, and she dies as the sun rises. This creates an extraordinary community behavior during Manananggal season. After dark, groups of villagers search the neighborhood, checking homes for abandoned lower halves. They look in closets, behind doors, under beds, in any space large enough to hide a pair of standing legs. It sounds absurd from the outside, but in the communities where this is practiced, it is deadly serious. There are also preventive measures. Pregnant women are advised to keep their belly covered at all times, never sleeping with exposed skin. Windows are sealed with wax during the final weeks of pregnancy, and some families hire a manhohila, a local spiritual practitioner, to place protective wards around the house. The Manananggal legend has found new life in Filipino horror cinema and contemporary fantasy fiction. Writers like Dean Francis Alford have reinterpreted the creature as a feminist figure, one who rejects the domestic role expected of women by literally splitting her body in half and flying away from it. This reading gives the Manananggal a power the colonial-era church never intended.
The Manananggal is more than a monster story. She is a lens through which Filipino communities process some of their deepest anxieties. the vulnerability of pregnancy, the fear that the people closest to you might be harboring something monstrous, the tension between public appearances and private reality. In a deeply Catholic country like the Philippines, the Manananggal also carries religious weight. She represents the corruption of the feminine, a woman who has traded her wholeness, her integrity, her humanity for supernatural power. The splitting of her body is a literalization of moral fragmentation, the idea that evil requires you to become less than human, to lose a part of yourself that you can never get back. But there's a feminist reading too. The Manananggal is a woman who has broken free of her body, who flies through the night with a freedom that no woman in traditional Filipino society was permitted. Her hunting targets, pregnant women, can be read as an attack on the institution of motherhood that defined and confined women's roles. In this reading, the Manananggal isn't evil. She's tragic. A woman so desperate for autonomy that she was willing to lose half of herself to achieve it. So here's what I want to leave you with. Somewhere in the Philippines tonight, in a small village where the streetlights don't reach, a man is sitting on a roof. His wife is 8 months pregnant. The windows are sealed with garlic. A knife is under the bed, and he's listening, not for footsteps, not for a knock at the door, for ticking soft, rhythmic ticking that gets quieter as it gets closer. He might sit there all night and hear nothing. He might sit there every night for a month and never see anything unusual. But he will sit there, because the one night he doesn't is the night he can't take back. Here's tonight's question. We've now covered 2 Filipino creatures, the aswang and the Manananggal. Both of them hide as normal people during the day. Both target the most vulnerable. Why do you think the Philippines, more than almost any other culture, has developed such an elaborate mythology around hidden monsters? Is it the island geography, the colonial history, something deeper? Filipino viewers, I especially want to hear from you. Educate us. 17 down. This channel is building something unprecedented. A complete guide to the world's darkest legends, told with the respect and depth they deserve. If you want to be part of it, like, subscribe, and share. Every new viewer helps us go deeper. Next week, Wrath of Women reaches its finale with the most powerful female figure in all of European mythology. Baba, Yaga. She lives in a house that walks on chicken legs. She eats children. She also saves heroes. She is everything a woman is not supposed to be, and she has been worshipped and feared for over 1,000 years. Don't miss the conclusion. This is Mythic Abyss. Legends they don't want you to know.